Hello, welcome back to A VO's Journey. Today we're going to be talking about the beginner's guide to your voiceover setup. All right, like setting up the business part of voiceover. For the next couple of videos, I'm going to try to keep it. You know me, I talk for a long time, so I'm going to try to keep it to not very long, 5 to 7 minutes. So I'm going to try very hard. So I'm just going to dive right into this. As you quickly know, we're starting our St. Patrick's Day special next week. So make sure you check that out. Only $24 to start the first month of the O's Journey Elite Academy. So big deal coming up. Now, let's go ahead. There's three things I want to talk about in this setting up your business. All right. The first thing is we need to set up your business structure. Okay. Typically, you will default to a sole proprietorship. So basically, you would go to your local treasurer's office or commissioner's office, and you would file for a DBA, a doing business as, whatever name you want to create. You'll pay, give them the paperwork. Then you can go open a business account, all right, at a bank as a sole proprietor. A lot of us want to open an LLC, which is a limited liability corporation company, and most of us are single member LLCs, so it's like a pass-through entity. So it's basically taxed the same as a sole proprietorship, but you have that umbrella of being incorporated. Okay, now in order to do that, you've got to go to the federal government, get a new EIN number, then you go to your state commissioner's office, the SEC at your state level, and get them to, you basically apply to have a limited liability corporation with them. Then from there, you'll get the paperwork from all of that, and then you can go and go to your local commissioner's office, and get the paperwork and register as an LLC there. Then you go get your business account. So that's how you set all of that up. You can do it all on your own. There's tutorials online. That's what I did. I'm not a legal expert. So, I'm not, this is just my advice, opinions about what I've done, but by no means they are a legal law. It's just what I've done. I live in Virginia, so that's how I did it in Virginia. I know every state's a little different, but it's not that hard. Of course, you can go through other places. You can get a lawyer, which, I always recommend if you can afford a lawyer to have a lawyer. But that's how you set up the structure, and it's important to do that for tax purposes, especially as we grow. It used to be you didn't have to report earnings for about $4,000 or more, but now we got taxes coming up in April, but now the government changed it this past year or so to 600, or 2 years or so, to $600. So don't get me started on taxes, right? But $600. So if you've earned $600 more, you have to report that on your taxes. All right. I'm always a big advocate of keeping it separate. So you keep it separate from your business and your personal. And that's why I want you to set up a business account. Now, creating the structure of your business when it comes to setting up the protections from the form of contracts, from the form of privacy policies, NDAs. All of these things are extremely important for you to become aware of. As voice actors, we're often asked to sign a non-disclosure agreement, an NDA. That's not weird. That's not out of the normal. That is a regular thing. It's becoming even more of a regular thing because so many of us, we're independent, right? We're growing our own stuff, and there's a lot of information back and forth that's private. And we don't want that other person inadvertently sharing it with possible competitors or something. So that's totally normal, but be aware of that. You should have a contract that you can share that also has an AI writer in it, right? It says, you're not allowed to use my stuff for artificial intelligence or machine learning, et cetera, without my consent. All of these things, Nava has a great writer on their account as well, but you can also use templates and things online. But of course, whenever it comes to contracts and stuff, of course, again, I got to recommend you talk to a lawyer, but don't go into the situations without starting to put these things together. Even if you're on a freelance platform or so forth, you can put this stuff together and make them sign it through the platform. We had Fiverr, some executives from Fiverr come to our conference, a VO's Journey Leader conference last fall, and they talked about that. About, hey, we promote you using contracts through our platform to have the person sign it, and that was always a weary thing for a lot of people because they didn't know if Fiverr would be angry that they were sharing personal information content. No, Fiverr is all for that, right? Because they want protected as well. So the contracts, that kind of thing, making sure that you are having those riders in there to protect yourself is really important. Also, a rate card, the business of like, what are you charging people? What is your policy? What's your communication policy? It's funny, we do a lot of always we're working on our craft and we're working on marketing, okay? But often what's pushed aside until all of a sudden, I get this a lot, is, oh crap, I got a job, Anthony, or I got a job. What do I, how much do I charge? Or what do I do? What do I say? Or they're asking for this, or they want that, right? So, I mean, that's often what happens to us because that's what we focus on and not the business side. So I hope in this one, I've given you some things. Remember, we've got to set up our business entity, whether it's a sole proprietorship at LLC. There's other business entities, but they don't really kind of fit what we do until we get big in the fact that we have employees and maybe we have other expenses and things. Then it might be it's more likely we would move to another business structure. But most of us will either stay with sole proprietorship or an LLC. All right, we need to go through the correct channels to get the paperwork. Then we need to set up a business account. We have separate your business account from your personal account. This is really important for taxes, writing stuff off, very important. Next, make sure that you have a contract. It can be simple. It doesn't need to be more than 10 to 15 different clauses about privacy, about the conditions of the work, you know what I mean? The payment structure, the AI writer, all of these things, right? Who owns the rights to it, what they own, what they don't own, things like that. You want to have a contract that you can easily send someone, have them sign, and send it back to you. You want to be ready to sign NDAs. Know that that's not awkward or weird or strange or out of the normal. That's a perfectly normal thing that we all do. And you want to be able to make sure that you have a rate card, a business card, and I don't mean necessarily even a physical business card now. Although those aren't bad to have still, because we still network. You never know when you're out and about and someone says, "Oh yeah, you got a card." But I'm talking about a digital card, right, where you can share a flyer with someone that gives them a brief overview of what you do, your prices, how you deliver, etc. Even if you don't have a website. We want to get a website eventually, all right? But right now we're just focusing on making sure we have the rates, we have our contracts, we have our business structure set up, okay? And we have business count, okay? All right, so that is the beginner's guide to your VO business setup in very quick. I don't even know how long that took. Hopefully it was under 10 minutes. But I hope that helps. Leave your comments and questions below. All right. And don't forget, Monday is when we start our super duper special for St. Patrick's Day. I hope you have a wonderful weekend. Talk to you guys later. Bye-bye.